Hey guys, welcome to the Thursday video. First of all, I want to apologize for not getting the Monday video out. January 1st was my New Year's resolution to put out 3 YouTube videos a week on this channel, really try to get it to grow. And other than this Monday, and there was one Sunday that my plans just got ruined. So I'm really trying to stick to that. I apologize for not getting that video out. It's been a crazy week. For example, right now I'm on my way to the DMV to register the Prius and to get a duplicate title made for the Camry so we can sell that. Anyway, you don't care about that stuff. Everybody's busy. So Monday, we actually ran out of paint. So I thought for sure 3 cans of that Perfect Match Duplicolor was going to be enough to paint that bumper, but it wasn't. So I had to get more. You guys, it got to a point where it looked okay, but there were still some thin spots, and if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it right. So I bought more, and I finished laying the white, and then I waited around, and I clear coated it, and so now we're good to go. Now we're in business. So we're actually gonna do kind of a 2-part video with the spray painting process, because now we have to let it cure. We can't just go right into the cutting and buffing and sanding when the paint is still fresh like that. So I'm gonna let it cure for a little while, and then we'll go into cutting and buffing and wet sanding and all of that stuff. But it looks really, really good. I'm really impressed, you guys, with how this bumper turned out with just spray cans. It did take a lot of paint. It took 5 cans of the Perfect Match Clear. I used a can of primer and a big can of clear coat. So it took 7 cans of spray paint to do one bumper. But I wanted to make sure we had really good coverage. I wanted a nice thick coat on there, and I took my time. And this isn't like, I'm not coming to you as a professional body guy telling you that this is 100% the right way to do things. I'm trying to tell you the way that I personally have gotten good results. So is it necessarily the proper way to paint? Absolutely not, probably not. But this is just steps that I've followed that have led me to good results in the past. I'm trying to pass that information on to you guys. So like I said, we're gonna do kind of a 2-part video, and right now I'm gonna cut to the shots of me painting that bumper, and then at the end we might talk about it a little more. We'll see. Hey guys, what's going on? I'm back. We're caffeinated. It's not 6 in the morning anymore, and we're back at the shop. We're back at the shop to paint the Prius bumper cover. It's right there. I've kind of taped things off a little bit so that I don't make a big mess. I'm still gonna make a mess. I mean, my space is a mess. Anyway, so we talked on the Sunday video a little bit about why we're doing it here. We don't want the temperature difference of the wood stove at my home shop, so we're gonna paint it in here so we can leave it in a constant temperature to cure. So today's video is all about how to get professional results from a rattle can, and it can be done. There's just a lot more steps that you need to take. So right here, I got everything laid out that we're gonna use, guys. I got some microfibers, I got some sandpaper, which we're gonna use later, tack cloth, Scotch-Brite pad, some polish. This is the Duplicolor Perfect Match paint. We got some Rust-Oleum acrylic enamel, high build primer, and that's just about everything we need. So like I said, I am a Rust-Oleum guy. If I'm painting with spray cans and I have to get it from a Rattle Can, I want Rust-Oleum. However, Duplicolor is the only company that makes the Perfect Match paint with the same paint code as the Prius. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take this surface and we're going to take a Scotch-Brite pad and we're just going to rough it up. You don't got to go crazy, but you want to rough up the surface a little bit so that the primer has a good surface to adhere to. So I'm going to set you guys up. I'm going to do that. I'm going to speed it up just so you don't have to sit here and watch me do this whole thing, and then we'll be right back. And see, it's just kind of dull. So like I said, you don't got to go crazy with that step. You just want to give kind of a little bit of a roughed up texture. So the next thing that we're going to do, we're going to use some acetone. Now when you do this, don't get this on your hands. This stuff is pretty gnarly, so it'll burn your skin. Put some gloves on, and I'm just going to dab it on a rag, and I'm going to wipe the entire thing down with acetone. All right, and it'll dry almost instantly. It's like, this stuff's like paint thinner on steroids, so it'll go pretty quick. I'm just going to wipe the whole thing down. It just cleans any oil and debris off of the surface so that your primer can adhere to the surface. All right, so we got gloves, we got acetone, we got rags. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to open this. I'm just going to kind of dab it on there and wipe the whole thing down. Alright, so the last step I like to take before we start applying our primer is to take a tack cloth like this and wipe the entire thing down. What this is going to do is get any lint, dust, debris, stuff like that, little particles off of there that might have been left behind. It's kind of like just a final wipe down. Again, it's called a tack cloth. This one's Bondo brand. You can get them all over the place. This was like $2. But you don't want to use a cotton cloth because it's going to leave dust and lint behind. So you want to make sure you use a tack cloth for your final wipe down. I put gloves on again just so if I accidentally touch it, the oils from my skin don't get on the bumper. So I'm going to wipe it down. I'm not going to show you this step just because
it's kind of repetitive. I'm gonna wipe it down really quick and then we'll start spraying primer. All right, so now we're gonna spray our primer. Now that we got all tack clothed off, I did a quick visual, made sure there wasn't anything left behind on our bumper. And like I said, we're using Rust-Oleum primer sealer. So this stuff I've used quite a bit, it works pretty good. And the next couple things we talk about are gonna be relevant to painting as well. So the first coat I like to do really, really thin. It's gonna look crappy, it's gonna look spotty. And when we do it, I'm gonna switch my angle. You wanna make sure your can's shaken up really well, and then when you spray, you don't wanna start spraying here. You wanna start spraying, hi Sammy. You wanna start spraying off of your surface and then finish and let go off. That's gonna prevent blotching and runs. All right, so we're done with coat number 1. As you can see, it's really, really spotty. So we're gonna wait a couple minutes and then we'll apply coat number 2. We got coat number 2. It already looks a lot better. You can see it looks pretty gray. All right, guys, so the primer's done. I'm gonna let it dry just for a little bit till it starts to get tacky, and this is kind of the hardest part. Don't rush this. Make sure you let your stuff dry in between coats. And then paint is gonna be essentially the same process. We're gonna start with a super thin coat, and then from there we'll build on that. And I have 3 cans, so this part might take a while. Again, make sure that you're spraying from side to side and go start off of your piece and end off of your piece. That's how you leave it so you don't get any blotches and runs in your paint. Again, don't rush it, let it dry, let it get tacky in between your coats. That's probably the hardest part about this whole process, is being patient. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna time lapse the paint portion of it after I let this primer dry just a little bit. One other thing, guys, make sure you're shaking these cans up really well before you start, and then spray some on a piece of cardboard or something to get the initial gunk out of there. Sometimes when you first start trying to use a spray can, it's gonna not come out very evenly, so make sure it's gonna come out even before you start painting your surface. But I'm gonna use all 3 cans. Might be a little excessive, but I really wanna build it up so that it doesn't chip away right away. All right, guys, Sammy's pissed off because she's way over there. I ran out of paint, so I'm gonna have to do this tomorrow night. Again, unfortunately, this is what we got so far. There's not quite even coverage on the bumper cover yet. So I'm exhausted, I'm gonna go home, but tomorrow night we'll probably try to finish this up. All right, guys, so the bumper's painted, it's done, it looks great. I put the factory plug in that hole that you can see in the video, and it looks awesome. I mean, the paint, I am so impressed with the paint match. I apologize again for not getting a Monday video out. Life's been crazy, today was crazy. So we're gonna let that cure for a little while. We're gonna let the paint have a chance to harden and really adhere well. I think that's part of the problem a lot of people have with spray painting as well, is that they don't let it adhere properly. They don't give it any time to cure. They paint it, they wait a couple hours, they slap it on whatever they got. Well, that paint is still soft. It hasn't completely set up yet. So we're gonna wait for that to happen, and then in a little while we're gonna do part 2 of this video where we talk about wet sanding and cutting and buffing and getting the best finish you possibly can. But like I said, it looks great. Spray cans can do good paint jobs, guys. It just takes a lot more prep and it takes a lot more time than it would using a conventional spray gun. But if you don't have those resources, hey, you can do it. It just takes time. So guys, again, apologize about the Monday video. I'll see you Sunday. Thanks for tuning in. Comment, like, subscribe, give me a comment down below. Let me know what you thought. Let me know about some projects you're working on. What are you painting? I want to know these things, you guys. So please leave me a comment. I love reading them, and I respond to most of them that I see. So thanks a lot. See you next time.